Welcome to the Loosen Up Your Painting podcast, the podcast for creatives looking to get inspiration, tips and advice on anything to do with art and creativity. If you enjoy creating something, then this is the podcast for you. I'm your host, Malcolm Dewey, a full-time artist at malcolmdeweyfineart.com, and let's begin the show. Welcome back to the Loosen Up Your Painting podcast. Good to be talking to you again. Now, about this time last year, I was talking about the creative awakening. I was looking at the year ahead, that case, it was 2024, as a year of a creative awakening. And I launched a book during the year as well by the same title. You can find that on my website or on Amazon. But the idea was that we were kind of emerging from a state that had kept us or was holding us down. We'd come through a really tough few years and businesses had suffered. People's morale seemed to be at a low ebb. Economic struggles, political struggles, leaders with feet of clay, as the famous poem goes. So 2024 to me felt like it had to be a year where we had an awakening. For us as artists, a creative awakening, a standing up and doing something new, finding self-belief and pushing through all the negativity to create something positive. I think to a large extent that is what happened, and it was an extremely busy year for me. And as I could see from artists that I was involved with, there was a lot of positive growth as well. And it does certainly seem like the world is reaching a state of hopefulness for 2025. We'll have to see what happens. There's certainly a titanic struggle of ideas and thoughts and attitudes. On the one hand, a lot of negativity trying to assert itself, while on the other, a sense of awakening. And this awakening likening to learning to see and appreciate and observe the truth. What is this for an artist? Why is it important? Because opening our eyes and seeing the world around us as a painter is critical. Not only is this going to help us to see the truth in a subject and create something that is immediately regarded as a powerful work of art. It's powerful because we recognize the truth in a scene, whether it's the light and the shadow and a real sense of color that evokes more than simply a recording, but also an emotional connection. We recognize that as truthful. I think this is an idea that the Impressionists certainly pursued. And while some may look back on the Impressionists as simply a bunch of artists who wanted to paint pretty outdoor scenes, we need to understand that they were, in fact, in pursuit of the truth in the landscape, the atmosphere, the light, the warmth, the coolness of the shadow, the simplicity of daily life, people working in the fields, people walking in the streets. The modernization of the world going on around them was fascinating and recorded as a subject in its own right. Now I find that this is something that we still need to pursue. After all, if we distance ourselves from reality and fail to see the truth, we lose ourselves and we tend to go along to get along. And that approach has never satisfied human development. If you just go along to get along or live by the mantra of rather safe than sorry, inevitably you are going to be sorry and certainly not safe, because when we close our eyes and switch off mentally and fail to look for the truth, that is when falsehood and distraction takes over. And perhaps we are the most distracted humans that have ever walked the planet right now. Or maybe that was in the past 5 years, and now we are freeing ourselves from distraction. Would you rather look at your phone and scroll through social media, or would you rather sit outdoors and observe how the light functions and transforms the landscape in front of you? Make a note of this and perhaps commit it into brushstrokes. Would that not be more enriching, more peaceful, more transformative, and create a greater sense of awareness? I'm sure it's self-evident to anyone who sits down and thinks about it that we need to take more time to actually see and spend less time reacting to the millions of distractions thrown at us, it seems, almost every day. So in order to start seeing like an artist, we need to slow down and start noticing the details. I think at the same time, this is going to reduce a lot of stress. Suddenly, the distractions are less important. And if we start to notice the fleeting moments of daily life, the small things, the colors, the leaves on the tree, not necessarily to paint them, but to see how they look under light and shadow. All of this will force us to just slow down a little, but not to go to sleep. We have to observe, and observation is critical. By noticing subtle details like color shifts, textures, and shadows, we can bring this into our painting. And this is going to elevate your work. It's going to make your work look authentic and real. But it's not about painting realism or another photograph. If that is your thing, of course, go for it. But that is not the objective. We don't want to simply duplicate a photograph to show how clever we are, or any sort of craft that is all about trying to hide something. We're not trying to hide anything. We actually want to show and demonstrate what we have taken the time to look at and observe and understand. So, for example, acquiring the curiosity to sit down and observe nature, and maybe to set up your easel and try a little bit of outdoor painting. Now, there are many ways to do this and many friendly introductions to painting outdoors, and I'm going to be exploring that this coming year as part of the See Like an Artist theme. All of this is going to help to build artistic confidence. Now, there are many practical tips for training yourself to observe the simplicity of shapes, the light, the color temperature, to notice the difference between warm and cool, and direct light and indirect light. There are many things like this that take a bit of time, but once you get the hang of it and once you're aware of it, you'll never be able to go anywhere without seeing it again. You can't unsee the truth once you have discovered it. So a few practical ideas. First of all, disassociate ourselves from the distractions and the things that media is trying to throw at us. And it seems like just about everything, including the kitchen sink, has been thrown at us by the mainstream media. Then there is the entertainment industry, also closely linked, ways to try to keep us binge watching the latest series or B-grade movies that seem to be held out as great entertainment these days. One of the things that really gets me is we see how books are transformed into movies or series these days which bear little resemblance to the original script. It's really frustrating how the art has been gutted out of the entertainment industry. But we're not going to be distracted by that any further. I think the awakening has happened, and the rejection of B-grade entertainment is going to be one of those things that's going to characterize the next 5 years. And why spend your time with B-grade entertainment when you can give more time to painting? I truly believe that painting is one of the most transformative activities a human can undertake. And it's ideally suited to people of all ages, from young to old, strong and weak, it doesn't matter. We can create images as long as you got eyes and hands, or in fact, you don't even need hands. I suppose there are many artists who are overcoming some sort of disability to still create beautiful art. So let's say if you are blessed with working eyes and hands, there's really no excuse. But it all starts with just taking a moment to start observing. Really take note of shapes, light, texture. Go beyond the photograph and go outdoors and observe. Or sit by the window if the weather is bad and notice what the light is doing. What's the direction of the light? Is it warm or cool? And how is it showing objects and things to you? Can you see the textures? Or is that hidden in shadows? What's the shape of that shadow? Make a note of it or sketch it before it disappears. These are things that artists have to cultivate. And I want this to be a year where you take a little more time and enjoy seeing these things and start taking these observations and putting them into your art. Remember, painting a landscape is only effective if you are, in fact, showing people what the light is doing. It's not about how good you are at drawing the objects and coloring them in with standard sort of colors. It's about showing what the light is actually doing. If somebody can look at your painting and can tell you the direction of the light and whether it's a warm day or maybe it's overhead extreme light or a sunset casting a warm glow, somebody should be able to tell you if it's sunrise or sunset without you even having to show the sky and the sun itself. Just light and color on the objects should give that clue to the observer. This is what I'm talking about by taking notice of these things. And if it all seems too difficult to you right now, don't worry about that. The first thing is to actually see it in real life. If you can do that, you've conquered half the problem. Now it's just a case of mixing colors accordingly, and that, with a little bit of practice, will happen very quickly as well. So let's focus on slowing down and observing. It's going to be the way of seeing like an artist. Or should I say the artist's way of seeing? I might just use that title. So that's the way I want to look at this new year. I want to encourage you as well to take that moment. And I've got good things coming along that's going to help. There's going to be new courses. There's going to be new subjects in the Artist Live channel. So I encourage you to have a look and see what you can find. Join one of my free courses because it's you that I'm going to contact first with whatever I produce this year. And I think you'll be quite happy as well. I'm certainly going to try to make as many people happy and contented and excited even about their art this coming year. So have a look at my website. Make sure you join up to my mailing list or take one of the free courses on offer, and I will be in touch with you as the year unfolds. There's going to be some exciting new developments. Okay, that's it. That's the start, the start of a new thought process and awakening, and we're all going to be bringing this into our painting in the new year. I wish you all the best and as much creativity as your heart desires. So until then, keep up the good work, keep on creating, and we will be in touch soon. Have a great day.